you have to look for a really good broker agent that will work to make you happy, right? But not kind of having dollar sign in his head all the time while doing the transaction. Because I think this is also important. A lot of people keep forgetting about it during the transactions because it's easy to get lost, especially there's a first big transaction.
But this is my house, Mommy. So what I asked Mr. Kringle for, it is, I know it is.
Welcome to The Pursuit of Home, coming to you from New York City. This is real people buying real estate and their unique journey to get there. We share the tips, tricks, and frameworks to help you navigate the bumps in the road that you won't see on reality TV or social media, and which no one has talked about until now. These are the emotional, psychological, ethical, and even spiritual challenges you're more than likely to encounter yourself. Learn from experts who've been there and hang out with me, Scott Harris, your host, who's helped thousands of people buy homes in Manhattan over the last 2 decades. Welcome back to The Pursuit of Home, where we explore what it really means to find and create a place to call home. Today, we're diving into something that's essential in today's market, whether you're a buyer, a seller, or an agent. How real estate marketing and personal branding shapes the experience of finding a home and the people who help you get there. I'm joined today by Denis Smykalov, broker, entrepreneur, and founder of Wolsen Real Estate, a Miami-based real estate firm that's handled everything from crypto-backed luxury deals to high-volume residential sales. Denis has built his business in one of the most competitive markets in the country by staying ahead of curves, staying ahead of embracing innovation, building a brand that buyers trust. We're going to talk about what it takes to stand out in a very crowded market, how today's agents are reshaping the buyer journey, and what lessons Denis has learned from helping clients at every level to make one of the biggest decisions of their lives. Denis, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Scott. Good to be here.
Denis, I've been to Miami many times. My family grew up north of Miami. My mom grew up in Palm Beach and West Palm Beach and Lake Worth. So I didn't spend as much time in Miami, but I know from lots of my relationships with the brokerage community down there, it's one of the most saturated, high stakes real estate markets in the country. How are the buyers in Miami different than in other places?
I would say, first of all, the buyers in Miami, they are, I cannot compare it to a lot of different places because I've been doing real estate only here. But from kind of my experience and my point of view, I think the buyers here, they're very knowledgeable, right? They are usually not, this is not their first like property they buy, and it's not second, not third, mostly. Sometimes they already been buying like tens of different transactions they done. And so they more kind of familiar with the process, right? And they, how to say that, they know what is this service about, right? They know what is the, how to please a luxury buyer, right? Or luxury seller. So I would say those are main things for the buyer. If you ask me for the buyers, how the buyer is different.
You've built your company into a big, high-performing brand with a strong marketing infrastructure. I mean, you have 25 agents and a whole fully branded out social media team and assistants and the works. How did you first start thinking about the brand? You know, it's not just about listings, but it's like how personal, it really becomes this personal connection with buyers. So how did you really think about how you wanted to connect with buyers and build out your brand?
I would say it happens about maybe 7 years ago. I honestly, I did not use my social media that much prior to that point. If you look at my Instagram account, maybe 6 years ago, if you look at my Instagram account, I only post one picture in a year, maybe, or something like that. But I kind of started thinking about, first of all, the buyers, right? How their search process works, right? Where it starts. And I'm like, okay, a lot of people, they start search online right now. Like, I think 92, 95, maybe %, probably even more, right? And so where they go, right? They go to websites, to Google, to social media. And that's where I kind of realized, okay, I guess this is something I really have to pay attention to, and to create content to put content out there. As much content I'm going to have, it's better for me. And I actually also had something, but it was not with the social media content. It was just with the information about me online. I had one client, he was buying, he was kind of buying or maybe about to buy one new development property, and he needed my email or something like that. And I didn't answer him within maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And then when I answered to him my email, he's like, oh, no worries, I already found it. I just Google you and there is your information. You can find everything about you. I'm like, okay, interesting. And so more information about the business, right? About you. It creates, I think it gives you a couple of things. One thing is just, it's, how to say that, for potential client, right? It's easier to find you, right? It's a one thing. And the second thing, as more information, of course, if it's good information. If it's bad information, I'm not sure how it's going to help. But if it's good information, right, about your deals, about your experience, about all of that's happening with you, it creates more trust, right? People can see, for example, watch your videos, YouTube videos, or social media, like Instagram accounts and all that. So it builds that trust and personal brand.
Now, if you have an agent working on your team, what's the first thing you tell them? Hey, you need to invest in this when you're growing your brand, at the company. What do you tell them?
Definitely, they have to, like, a few things. I just hired one agent. She's originally from Turkey. She's been in Miami sometime, couple of years of experience, and now she just joined my team. Things that I do ask is one is the content, for sure. They have to work on the content. They have to. If they don't want to work on the content, I don't need those agents. I'm just looking for those guys. They kind of okay with that. They're not afraid of it.
So it's so important in the way that they grow their brand that you're like, look, if you don't want to go out there and shoot video and put yourself in front and really put yourself out there, this may not be the right place for you. Is that really how you're going about this?
Yeah, for sure. Because look, let's be honest, right? Like, for example, we do podcasts with you right now. It's more comfortable here. But if you go somewhere to shoot in the middle of the street where you have people walking around looking at you, when you have a videographer with a camera in front of you, it's not that easy. I'm not saying it's something that you cannot do, but it's not something that pleasant, Sometimes you have that mind game in your head. Okay, you're trying to focus and someone is looking at you. So it's not, you have to go out of your comfort zone, right? And people usually like, this is our psychology. We're not enjoying it. So,
a lot of the audience is home buyers, and I want to spin this and tell me how you feel about me saying this. If an agent isn't willing to get out of their comfort zone, how are they going to help buyers get out of their comfort zone? Because the essential part of what we're doing is taking people, guiding them through what is a hugely stressful process. They had, even if they're like, the house is too small, it's still stressful to go into a bigger home, and it's hard. Is there a mistake other than not wanting to do enough content? Is there a mistake that agents make when they're trying to build their own brand too quickly?
I would say so, yeah. I'm sure we all do mistakes, right? I've done mistakes. Everyone does mistakes. But I think the most important mistake that we can do is just doing nothing. When people, they just don't start things. I think if you want to do something, just start it. Just go for it. Don't. I remember when I was starting my videos, I was talking to one guy, and he's like, okay, Denis, you gotta start doing videos. You have to do this. I'm like, okay, hold on. Let me go and cut my hair. My hair is doesn't look good. Let me cut my hair. Then I cut my hair, and I'm like, okay, I think I need to buy a better camera. And it was like all those things, one after one. He's like, man, stop. Just
do it. Just put it out there.
Just do it. Exactly.
On the other side of a mistake, do you think that buyers, when they show up, you're in Miami, you're presenting these incredible beach waterfront properties. I was noticing you've done some really, really large deals, close to $20 million deals. Do you think that buyers show up having watched your agents on, on their social media with any kind of misperceptions about what the process looks like? I know you said your buyers are pretty savvy, but do you still think that they come in kind of thinking it's going to be one thing and then it's something else?
I think it's easy. Why? Because it depends on the content they're watching, right? If they're watching the Netflix shows about, what do you call it, in the LA, right? I think Oppenheim group. Probably, not probably, you don't really learn much about the process from there, because you see it's just a different side of the real estate game that's happening there. It's more about like a show, right, to get attention of the people. But it depends on the content, because if you create a content and you educate your buyers, right, about the process, you show actual transaction, right, you show step by step what's happening, inspection, closing, and all of that. And if they watch that type of content, of course it's easier for them. But if they do watch something else, then
so I mean, if I'm hearing you right, it's kind of like the social media and all the branding is really just to build trust. Here's somebody who's doing real business, somebody that can help me do what I want to do as a buyer or a seller. But then once you get into the nitty gritty, I mean, tell me if this sounds right. It's not like you're doing a lot of educating. Your branding is really not about educating about the buying process. Does that sound right?
I would say it depends on the on that person branding, right? I'll give you one of my examples. On Instagram, I had videos where I was talking about the luxury rentals, right? How much you can rent it for, how the process works, and all of that. And then I got a lead from there. He told me that his girlfriend showed him my video where I was talking about the rentals, blah, blah. So they ended up buying a couple of pre-construction units that total value about like $6 million. And it was from kind of from educational video, exactly, like a short video.
All right, I want to get into this, because this is, to me, these transactions that I was reading about that you've done require, I would think, so much trust on the part of a buyer. You've done really impressive crypto-based transactions, like multi-million-dollar crypto deals. How do you position yourself as somebody buyers can trust with that kind of, cutting-edge technology? I mean, is there any advice you could? I mean, I'd love to hear about like a story about how you've, a deal that you closed with crypto, and then the advice you might give to agents who are trying to get into that space.
Look, I think with the experience, of course, they can feel that confidence, right, when you're talking to them. But when I've done my first, so far we did about 50 million, 50, in deals just in the crypto transactions, and tens of them. But when it was my first crypto deal, actually it was a guy from Instagram as well. He sent me a message. He said, "Hey, I'm looking to buy a property, blah blah. Are you able to help me to buy with the crypto?" This was my first transaction.
When was this?
Probably like 4 years ago. Yeah, about 4 years ago. And then he sent me that question, right? And what was my answer? Of course, yes. Have I done it? No, it was my first time. I'm like, okay, yes, I can do it, but I'll figure out, And then I started Googling, looking for companies that can help me with the transactions, and I found the way. And for the seller, actually, they didn't even know it was crypto transaction. It was just regular transaction.
So it wasn't like you had to go, sorry, seller, this guy wants to pay you. It's like the equivalent of, hey, my buyer wants to show up with a suitcase full of cash, which I've only had in 20 years had one time when a buyer wanted to do that, and I said that's not happening. But so you figured out a way to convert it into a form that the seller didn't care.
Yeah, that's our job, right? We have to find a solution, right? How to make the deal happen.
Miami strikes me as a little flashier than New York, and big personalities. How do you stand out in that kind of a market without trying to like outshine everybody else? Because I imagine you seem to me like a very solid kind of strategic person. how do you stay true to your own voice when you're marketing in such a flashy environment?
Look, I would say, first of all, I guess I have some life experience, right? Not to do things that gonna, how to say that, not going to be, not going to affect my business and life in a positive way in the long run, right? And so far, I know what I want. I know what I'm what works for me. For example, even the way I look, right? I used to dress like in a classic shirt and shoes, like I met with the clients, very kind of professional way, let's call it, right? But then with the time, I realized that I don't feel comfortable myself. I really do not feel comfortable. And when I put my sneakers on, I even some of the brokers, they joke, "Oh, this is Dennis. He's coming in the shorts and he's closing $5 million deals." I mean, of course, usually with the clients, I don't wear shorts, but it depends on the client. With the some, I can afford to do something like that. But in general, I would say, it came with the time, right? To able to hear myself, right? What my, I would say, soul and heart want to, and not to do things that against my inner side.
And I imagine that, you're in Miami, I'm in New York. The cliche is like the Century 21 agent somewhere in the country who has like a gold jacket or a green jacket or something. It becomes like a strange real estate professional outfit. And that just seems so completely crazy to me. You have to wear clothes that you feel confident in. And so you can feel like you're most available to answer questions and be yourself. Now you have your own agency, you have 25 agents, but you had scaled back from 65 to 25, which I imagine is like a bold move in a market that like, hey, it's all about growth. What did you learn in that transition about quality and culture and maybe the importance of reputation as you were building, kind of evolving your brand for your company?
First of all, it's not about, I would say, the numbers, right? It's more about quality of the people. I had, now I have even less than 25 agents. I have some of guys on my team, they work with social media, with the digital marketing, and some of the guys, they work with the sales. I have cold call team. They do call property owners in the areas. And I would say it's about passionate people, right? For example, if you can have 4 guys around you, they have same work ethic and they are excited about what they do, right? Results are going to be way much higher than just 20 people who are waiting from salary to salary, right? From paycheck to paycheck. And also the energy is different. When you are with someone, for example, Yana, the one she's helping with his podcast and stuff, she started with me more than a year ago. She was in Belarus back then. She won a green card. She moved here. Now she's here in Miami with me. But she's really on point. She's excited about what she's doing, and she's very active, energetic, and that also translates to other people who are around her, right? And I think it's really important to have not just. Everybody has a different structure of the brokerage, right? Some of the brokerages, they have the idea is as many agents as possible is good for them because they make money from the monthly fees, some kind of transaction fees, like from every fee, they get some money. So I have different structure, and there's nothing against, as I said, like some other ways of doing business.
Yeah, so it's quality over quantity. And I do want to talk about that as relates to the home buyer experience. Can you share a story of a buyer you've worked with, maybe somebody coming into the Miami market for the first time who had a breakthrough moment where your guidance, I don't know how much it sounds like you're still working directly with a lot of buyers where your advice help move them in the same direction, like where there was an emotional turning point in their journey. I'd love to hear a story about that.
Look, the thing is with the buyers, right? If we're talking about the buyers, sometimes they do not, not sometimes, a lot of the times, they don't 100% know what they want. they kind of they think what they want. But since it's new town, right? Like maybe it's even new country for them. I'm not saying they never been here before, but they can be from Europe, from other countries, right? And when they come in here, at first they thinking, okay, I used to live all my life, for example, in a house. I want to get a house, right? But when they come here and they realize maybe it's not an option for them, maybe condo is better because it's less maintenance, has better views, and plus it's less expensive if you get kind of same quality house or condo because there's a value in the land. It happens very often. And you have to just always, from my experience, you have to say analyze, right? What was the buyer is looking for? Usually I ask questions and I listen. I really listen what they want to share with me. And sometimes it happens. I've heard when people tell me, "Hey, I would never live in a condo, right? Only houses." It's not happening. Like they tell me, "Oh, what a stupid idea to live in a condo," something like that, you know. And then after 1 year pass by, and they're like, "Well, you know that building, the building right there in Miami Beach. Can you check the prices there for me?" And I'm like, "Okay, you know, because things are changed, right? Nothing is permanent, right? Anything can happen, and so I think as long as you kind of can listen to your client, if it's buyer or seller, and not just how to say that, not just to tell them based on your experience with someone else, but first you have to be. I mean, I don't think it's a secret, right? The good sales person is kind of a psychologist, right? You have to able to patiently to get information from the other side.
Well, this is the running theme of this podcast, which is that it's that, and if out there, if you're listening to this, you may think you have your checklist and you're like, I know what I want for sure. And then you go into a property and with your checklist and it checks every box and you get no feeling. You're like, okay. And then like the steam starts coming out of your ears. You're like, wait a minute, what's going on? And as an agent, please tell me if you agree or disagree. You can't be on the opposite side. You can't be an adversary to your client. You actually have to let them learn this a little bit by themselves, not by themselves, but for themselves. And once they're like, oh, actually the condo is the direction I want to go in, you probably knew it. You could feel it happening all along, but you can't. All you can do is kind of guide people in that direction. Does that sound about right? Yeah. All right. For those agents out there listening, you know, they're trying to break through in competitive markets. It's LA, it's New York, it's Miami. What is your advice so how they can stay relevant, they can on social media without becoming just another noisy agent doing the same thing that everybody else is doing? How do people keep evolving? How do you keep evolving without losing your own identity?
First of all, I would say you have to learn things, right? You have to learn technologies, right? To use tools that out there with AI. That's I think is going to help us a lot to do our business. You have to not to be against those tools and say, hey, I don't know how to use it. I'm not good with the tech. You have to, you know, because this is our business. I mean, you have to figure out if you are the same person. The same person provides same services as other realtor, and you just started. It's really hard to get a business, right? You have to do something different. That's why actually one of the things, right, why I like to do something new, to try things, crypto, right? When I tell people I do crypto transactions, I have other agents, they do reach out to me and they ask if I can help them to close transactions with their clients, right? And if you just started as the agent, right, I think you just have to put as many hours a day as possible. What I mean by that, for example, when I started my first I remember I used to wake up early morning, probably 6-ish or something like that. From 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. for 5 hours, I've been posting ads on for rent on Craigslist. I still remember it was 12 ads per hour, 60 ads for 5 hours. And I've been doing it constantly, 5 days a week. So I had 300 ads right there on the internet, on Craigslist. And I've been getting calls through those ads. And then with the time, I found then one person, then another one in India for $300, $200 or $300 a month, and they've been helping me. Of course, they were not like they couldn't do it the same way I can do it, but it's different amount of money, and plus I can focus on other things. So you have to delegate as well. But at first, I think you have to be constantly doing things and figure and kind of be accountable, because some people, they think, okay, I've been working a lot today, but in reality, he's was checking his social media, calling to his girlfriend and some other stuff. And this is, I think, distractions also very important thing that you have to pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the job of the home buyers and the clients. They can look at all the social media they want. That's their job. Our job is to create it and be diligent. And I think a lot of agents forget, or they just don't realize that the amount of research and outreach that has to happen to help people buy and sell a home. All right, I have one more question, or a couple more questions for you. After everything you've experienced personally, professionally, over all these years, building this company, from you had as many as 65 agents, now you have a much more cohesive core. What does home mean to you now?
Home, look, I'm originally from different country, right? For me, home is that where your family, like for example, like I would say, like even feeling, I came to Miami. First, I came by myself, right? I didn't have anyone here, not my wife, not my daughter, not my parents, my brother. And I felt this is my place, right? I loved it. And I started real estate 13 years ago. And it's been a great journey, right? And for me, Miami, it's really home, since right now, this is the city where I enjoy just being in here, right? Plus, how to say that, I have something to do, right, in my career where I can grow. Plus my family here as well, my relatives, my family. So this is a home for me, to answer in my words.
Love it. And if you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice that they, as they start or continue their own pursuit of home, what would it be?
I mean, if you put it from how to say that, my professional perspective, then I would say you have to look for a really good broker agent that will work, how to say that in the proper words, that will work to make you happy, right, at the end, but not kind of having a dollar sign in his head all the time while doing the transaction. Because I think this is also important. A lot of people keep forgetting about it, during the transactions, because it's easy to get lost, when especially there's a first big transactions.
Got it. Yeah, it's the most important thing, I think, is who you choose. Make sure that you choose an agent that you feel really understands who you are. I couldn't agree more. And
also, I would add here as well, if you don't mind, that not to be afraid to talk to a few different people, right? Because sometimes what I do as well, when we work with the new developments and the different projects, there's in-house agents, right? So pretty much I'm in a position where I bring client to them. And if I start transaction and I see that agent is not on on the same pace of work, right, as we are, then I just say, look, I need to work with someone else, because it's normal. Otherwise, I've been losing already a couple of times, not the clients, but transactions, because they not given me information quick enough or some other things.
I see. Right. So meaning you're telling the sales office, hey, give me somebody different.
Yeah. It's normal. Look, it's nothing wrong with that person. It's just
Just
we all
whether it's a
differ,
fit,
right?
whether it's a good
Someone,
fit.
yeah, someone like, for example, you want to work, I don't know, with me, or maybe you say, oh, I don't like Dennis, maybe because of this and that. Not like you're gonna tell me you don't like, but it's a human thing, right? Some people, look, I don't know, that type of person, someone is gonna like someone else.
Yeah, I like to say it's not you, it's not me, it's just are we an energetic match?
Yep, I agree.
Dennis, thank you so much for being here, and best of luck as you continue your practice in Miami. And we'll put all your contact information in the show notes, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, and when you're in Miami, I'll see you for coffee or lunch, okay?
Awesome. Take care, man.
Thank you, Scott.
That's it for this episode of The Pursuit of Home. I hope today's conversation gave you insight, clarity, and maybe even a new way to think about your own home search. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a moment to follow, rate, and review the show. It really helps us reach more people on their own journey to home ownership. The Pursuit of Home is proudly produced by Fame, the B2B podcast production agency. Find The Pursuit of Home on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else you listen to podcasts. And if you want to connect, you can find me anytime on social media or at Magnetic. Until next time, happy home hunting.